Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling an absolutely massive topic, the 7 money habits rich people never skip. Look, if you've been following finance for a while, you probably already know the basics, right? But today, we aren't just talking about theory. We're breaking down the exact, deliberate, everyday playbook that literally separates the truly wealthy from everyone else.
So is it just dumb luck, or is it daily habits? Let's be completely honest with ourselves for a second here. We all love the idea of overnight success, don't we? The lottery winner, the guy who made millions on some viral crypto coin, it's exciting. But here is the hard truth. Real, sustainable wealth, it is almost never an accident.
Okay, let's dive into this. The reality is that over 80% of millionaires are actually self-made. Think about that. True wealth isn't a winning lottery ticket. It is a deliberate architecture. It's built brick by brick, dollar by dollar, through those smart and, yes, sometimes totally boring, money decisions that they make every single day.
All right, Section 1, Building Your Financial Foundation. Listen, before we can grow our wealth, Phase 1 is all about playing defense.
Because before we can climb to the penthouse, we desperately need a rock-solid ground floor. And that starts with habit 1. Pay yourself first. Now, most people, they get a paycheck and boom, they immediately pay the landlord, the credit card company, all those streaming platforms. But the wealthy, they automate their success. They are conceptually filling their own piggy bank, routing money straight into savings or investments before it even hits their checking account. They literally treat their future selves as their most non-negotiable monthly bill.
Which brings us to habit 2, live below your means. I know, it sounds super simple, right? But it is incredibly powerful. We live in a culture that is constantly pushing us to upgrade, to keep up with the Joneses, but inflating your lifestyle just to match your income? Man, that is a guaranteed downward trend for your net worth. You really have to ask yourself, are you spending tomorrow's freedom today?
And that leads us right into a really critical warning. Habit 3, avoid bad debt. Our sources highlight this massive danger, what they call the broken credit card trap. Guys, high-interest consumer debt is an absolute financial sinkhole. It will literally swallow your future earnings whole if you aren't completely ruthless about cutting it out.
Now, what's really interesting to look at here is getting perfectly clear on what bad debt actually is. It's debt that drains your resources without building your net worth or generating any income. It actively works against you. You're basically paying a massive premium just to borrow money for things that are instantly losing value. And that completely shatters the financial foundation we are trying so hard to build.
So, let's just quickly recap this foundation. Pay yourself first, live below your means, and avoid bad debt. Notice how these just sequentially lock together? When you prioritize yourself, keep those expenses lean, and absolutely refuse toxic interest rates, you secure the perimeter. You create an impenetrable defense against going broke.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, Growing and Protecting Assets. This is Phase 2, folks. This is where we stop playing defense and start going on the offensive.
Now that our defense is totally locked in, we can stop just protecting our money and start turning it into a massive wealth generation machine. Enter habit 4, invest consistently. And I want you to focus heavily on that word, consistently. The wealthy, they don't just invest when the market is red hot or when crypto is trending. No way. They do it rain or shine. That regular automated investing, that is the water and sunlight that actually grows your money tree.
And this brilliantly illustrates compound interest hard at work. Seriously, it's like the 8th wonder of the world. Wealth building isn't just a straight overnight vertical line. It's a steady, unstoppable, undeniable climb upward over a decade or more. Remember, time in the market will always beat trying to time the market. Which flows perfectly into habit 5, keep learning about money. The wealthiest people in the world, they never stop turning the pages of finance books. They view financial literacy as a daily discipline, not just some one-time high school class. Markets shift, tax codes change, new vehicles emerge. So whether it's reading a market newsletter with your morning coffee or throwing on a finance explainer during your commute, your knowledge absolutely has to evolve right alongside your portfolio. But hey, while we're charging hard on offense, we still absolutely need an insurance policy. That is, habit 6, always have an emergency fund. Think of this as your impenetrable, glowing safe. It's your shock absorber, a blown transmission, an unexpected medical bill, a sudden layoff. Having a liquid emergency fund means you never, ever have to liquidate your hard-earned investments at a loss just to handle one of life's surprises.
To quickly summarize this growth phase, invest consistently, keep learning,
and maintain that emergency fund. And these three don't just exist in a vacuum, right? They interlock. Your investments grow the wealth, your learning optimizes it, and your emergency fund protects the whole shebang. Combined, they act as an unstoppable engine of wealth.
Which brings us to our final section, the ultimate key, consistency.
We are in the final stretch now. You've got the defensive tools, you've built the offensive engine, but habit 7, stay consistent, well, this is the master rule that holds absolutely everything together. Think about it. You can have the perfect budget. You can have the ultimate, most dialed-in index fund portfolio. But if you quit after a month, it is completely useless. Consistency is quite literally the gravitational pull of wealth.
I want to slow down for a second here. Just to emphasize a core truth from our sources, wealth isn't built overnight. Let the reality of that patience just sink in for a moment. You have to let go of the sprint mentality and fully embrace the marathon.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the ultimate core philosophy of financial freedom. Smart money decisions every single day. The real energy behind wealth creation isn't a single massive IPO or some viral moment. It's really just a continuous series of small, correct, disciplined choices. Every single day, you are laying a new brick.
It is literally a staircase to financial independence, and each step flawlessly builds on the last. You save to gain capital. You invest to put that money to work. You learn to accelerate your growth. And that compounding growth ultimately buys back your time, giving you absolute, glowing financial freedom.
So, I want to end this explainer with a challenge for you today. What daily money decision will you make right now? The wealthy don't skip these habits, and honestly, if you want the results, neither should you. The staircase is built, it's time to take your first step.